Well, guys, once again, good evening. Welcome to our session number 5. As you know, we keep on advancing on the development of our sessions. And tonight we are, well, on the first part of the session, we are going to finish our unit 10. So once again, let's say that talking about that from a very general perspective, you should have already finished the questionnaires from unit 9 and unit 10. But I know that at some points you decide to take a few days, or maybe according to your agenda, maybe you wait almost till the end of the cycle. But as I always repeat, of course, as respectful as possible, is that the intention is to keep on practicing the activities or the topics that we study in our class, and then you practice on your own the topics on the virtual campus. That is basically the idea. Okay. That's one thing. Very good. Guys, did you started working already on the virtual campus? Not yet? ¿Ya le dimos la miradita al campus virtual o no?
Not yet, teacher.
Okay, Kiara, thank you for the honesty. Yeah, but don't
Profe, yo
forget.
planeaba actualizarlo el fin de semana, siendo honesto.
Okay, Jorge, good. And Maria says no. Okay, as I told you, I know, guys, that you are really busy. I almost can like bet that none of us are 100% free, only doing this, let's say, course. I know that you have a lot of things to do, and I really, really hope that you can get the time to do those activities. Well, guys, I know where, I would like to know where the other people are. Actually, a lot of people are absent. Maybe there is problem with connection or something, but well, we have to start. Let me share here. As I was telling you, tonight on the first part of, well, Jorge, thank you for the information that you told me about Xiomara. I write it down already. We are going to finish our unit 10. Unit 10, we have been talking about different aspects related to predictions about the future, also talking about hypothetical situations. And we're going to finish the unit talking about a task that the name is balance the budget, okay? Tonight is more related a little bit to a speaking activity. As you already know, that's the idea of that part of the session. And well, before that, I'm gonna take attendance with the few of you that have already taken part of the session. So for the moment, I know that somebody is going to be here. Karen Victoria Acevedo. Not here for the moment. Steven Santiago Fonseca. Not here yet. I forget. Sergio David Gomez is not here yet. Kiara Lisette Martinez.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Jorge Jair Moreno.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Natalia Navarro is not here yet. Diego Fernando. Well, you already told me that you will log in from the computer in a moment. Manuela Ortiz, not here yet. John Sebastian Pavón is not here yet. Beatriz Pedraza. Okay. Well, Xiomara Jorge already told me what happened. Jessica Paola Rios.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Catherine Rodriguez.
Present, miss.
Okay. Marlon is not here yet. Mendy Fabián Santa. Mendy.
Teacher present.
There you are. Okay, good. Manuel Alberto Sepúlveda. Manuel. Well, I see him here. Maybe in a moment he will reply. María Alejandra Vega.
Present, teacher.
Okay, and Vanessa is not here for the moment, okay? Let me see the chat. Manuel, there you are. And also, let me check one thing. Marlon is waiting. And now Karen Victoria. So now Marlon is here, as well as Karen. Okay. Well, the other guys still have a few minutes, you know, as a window, let's put it like that, to arrive early before it actually counts as like you didn't take part of the first hour. You know how that works. Okay. Well, guys, as I was telling you tonight, we are going to talk about the final part of our unit. Welcome, Karen. That is balance the budget. I was telling you that this part or this activity, of course, is related to the information that we have here in our book. Those are pages 102 and 103. Actually, the first questions are pretty interesting. I think that it affects everybody at some point. I'm gonna read the questions. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to think about the answer of these questions. And you know the drill, right? First, I ask you guys if there are any volunteers to answer the questions. And then I'm gonna, Manuela, welcome. Vanessa, welcome as well. I'm gonna choose some of you also to give your opinion. Let me adjust the attendance in this moment, otherwise I forget. Vanessa and Manuela, Vanessa and Manuela. Vanessa, Manuela. Listo. So the first question says, would you like to be the president of your country? Why or why not, of course? And think of one thing that you would change if you were president. I know that we all have very different opinions about the things that we would like to change in case that we could like run for office, but you're going to choose only one. And I'm sure that the first question also, it is an idea that maybe in a conversation has already appeared and probably you have already thought about it before. So I want to read them again. Would you like to be the president of your country? Why or why not? And one thing that you would like to change if you were president. Well, guys, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to brainstorm. Then we begin with the volunteers and then I choose some of you. Guys, did you have any questions about the instructions? Questions? No, miss. Thank you very much. Let me see the chat. Okay. The message is for me. 3 minutes is starting now.
Maybe we'll be
Okay, guys, thumbs up. So you know the drill. First of all, which of you guys would like to volunteer to answer the questions? No volunteers, no volunteers. So that means that I have to choose. Let me ask. Okay, Santiago, what about you?
Well, teacher, I would like to be the president of our country because it's very unsafe and insecure. Well, there are many corruptions, so most probably is that in between 2 or 3 months of my leadership, maybe someone tried to kill me or
Oh my
something like
God.
that. About the second, well, that would be the reason for which many people try to finish my period as a president. And I would like to change the education. I try to include the I don't know how to say educación financiera, finance education,
Financial education.
finance education in our educational system because it's one of the reasons that I consider there are many ignorance in our country and many corruption at the same time.
Okay, Santiago, thank you very much. You know, that's true. One of the things that unfortunately is learned with pain is the correct use of money, credit cards, debit cards, loans. Unfortunately, there is no like real knowledge about that. And as you said, that it also leads to corruption. I also saw Kiara's hand. I don't know if you still want to share your idea.
For the first questions, I wouldn't like to be president in Colombia because I think the corruption is a very big problem that don't let make changes for Colombian people.
Okay. And the thing that you will, well, you said no, so the second question is eliminated. Sorry, Kiara. Thank you very much. Any other volunteer? Let me see the chat. Okay, this one is from Jorge. I like to be the president of Colombia because I like to change the country with new economics and social policies to improve people's lives. If I were president of Colombia, I would change the Congress and reform other institutions to reduce the corruption in the country. Okay, Jorge, thank you very much. So for the moment, we have 2 votes for yes and 1 for no. In the case of Santiago, he was talking about financial education as one of the things to change. And Jorge talking about reform some institutions. Also related to avoiding corruption as much as possible. I write down your answers so I can also provide feedback. Institutions. Okay. I would like to know one more person's opinion. In this case, Vanessa already told me that she's traveling. Maria, what about you? So we have 2 yes and 1 no. So you could be the tie or you could be the one that leans the balance towards yes.
Yes, I wouldn't like to be president of my country because I think that I wouldn't be a good leader for the country, and it's too much work.
Okay, and this, right? Okay.
And the second,
Okay.
I wouldn't change the medical service. I I would the medical server free.
I would make medical service free.
I
Okay.
would make
Mhm. Okay, Maria. Thank you very much. So we are gonna keep it as a tie, you know, two answers of you. You said, guys, that you actually would like, and two of you said that no. We're going to have a look at our book. For the one that arrived a few seconds ago, we are having a look at the task on page 102. Here we have some words, you know, actually a lot of words. And the idea, guys, is that you're going to classify these words into three different categories: groups in society, social problems, and government responsibilities. Notice that we have already three examples done. Talking about groups in society, we have the wealthy. Guys, do you remember what wealthy means?
La riqueza.
Sorry?
La riqueza.
Okay, but talking about people, until wealth would be riqueza, but the people, so what is the?
Como alta
Los
sociedad.
ricos.
Los ricos, the people that have like a lot of money, let's put it like that in a very informal way, of course. Social problems, we already have crime, it's a very transparent word. And then, sorry. Talking about governments and responsibilities, well, of course, we are talking about education. So guys, the idea that you are going to classify all the words that you have in here, that you look for the meaning of them to make sure that you put them in the correct category. It may like look a little bit obvious, but for example, in like the first one, groups in society, we're talking about groups of people. So in terms of grammar, we are talking about like nouns, you know, basically all of them are nouns, but make sure that you choose those ones that make you think of people, you know, that is basically the idea. I want to read these words for you. We have corruption, healthcare, racism, unemployment, homelessness, defense, taxpayers, the opposition parties, the poor, the government, ordinary people, pollution, transport, poverty, and balancing the budget. I'm gonna give you, in this case, 5 minutes to think of the classification of these words, okay? That is the first part. Then, after you classify these words, think of other words that you can add to each category, okay? We already know here the words that are assigned on the list, but think of other words that you consider also belong to groups in society, social problems, and government responsibilities. Okay? Guys, any questions about the instructions?
No, teacher.
Okay, well, actually, I'm gonna give you 7 minutes, probably for you like to brainstorm a little bit more the extra words that you're going to add to each category. So you have the the words there. Let's start 7 minutes starting now. Well, guys, time's up. Let's see how you organize the words. Keep in mind that the idea was also to add more words to the 3 categories. I didn't really tell you how many like new words you had to add. It was more like from what you found or your perspective, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 5, maybe only 1, and that's okay. For example, we already know that from groups in society, we have the wealthy. Beatrice, which other words did you include in that category?
The poor,
Mm-hmm.
ordinary people,
Yes.
the government teacher.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And and how teacher? I don't know homelessness.
That is not. I mean, the word is not about people. It's more like the situation. You know.
Ah, okay. Listo.
Mhm.
Taxpayers, maybe. I don't know.
Taxpayers. Mhm.
Taxpayers.
And one more.
One more. Maybe poverty.
Not
No.
really.
The opposition parties.
The opposition parties.
Mhm.
Very good. Beatrice, which other words did you add to that category? Which other groups of people we could add? Groups in society.
GLPT, GLTB, LTV.
Look it up, Beatrice, because you're struggling with the letters and the order. Okay. That would be it from that. Oh, and any other? Sorry, Beatrice.
And maybe for Colombia, Indian people, or people
Native.
natives.
Let me write it down.
How do you describe? How do you describe?
How do you write?
How do you write, teacher?
Let me send it to the chat. Native people.
Native people, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, Beatrice. Diego, what about social problems?
Okay, teacher, social problems like corruption, racism,
Racism.
poverty, pollution, and the poor. Maybe the poor is a group of in society.
The poor, the poor is the group, exactly.
Okay, just like that, teacher.
There are 2 more. Let me ask Sebastian. Which other 2 did you include in social problems? For the moment, from the list. The 2 that Diego didn't say. Sebastian? Well, then Jorge. Which are the other 2 that Diego didn't include?
The second category, social problems.
Yeah, Diego already gave a list, but let's say that he forgot to include 2.
Corruption,
He said it.
crime, racism, homelessness. Homelessness. Maybe poverty.
Poverty as well. I don't remember if you had
That's
already said
all.
unemployment. Very good, Maria. Unemployment is also another problem that can be included. Well, I'm gonna also like cross out the words in here just in case, because well, probably you already like had a look at them. Somehow you are still kind of predicting. until here. That would be it for the people. Let me change the color so we can also cross out and eliminate without any doubt. Let's put it like that, the social problems. So we have the corruption, we have the racism, unemployment, homelessness, pollution, poverty. That would be it. That means that the ones that we have left here are, okay, before we go to the third category, Karen Victoria, which other did you include in social problems, like your own words?
Maybe how do you say evasores?
Like the people who don't pay taxes?
Yes.
I gotta check. Let's see. That's to be evaded.
Even
That's
is similar
is-
to corruption, no?
It is absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, because that will be evader. We'll be talking about people. Let's use the noun. You know, like evasion, evasión. Talking about the tax
Okay.
situation. Okay. That would be it from that category. And well, we already know. That the final category, talking about government
Teacher?
response. Yes.
The social problem is possible immigrant.
Immigration.
Immigration.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, because for example, Jorge is a politician and I see his point, but that would belong to the category of groups in society. So let's like, what do they do? For example, corruption is a problem. Although they are also a problem as well. We can't deny that part. Potable water. Okay. That is also a, let's say, a social problem, to be honest. So the ones that are supposed to go to government responsibilities, well, of course, the ones that we have left, healthcare, defense, the government, and balancing the budget. Which other, remember, those new words that you included are part of social, government responsibilities. Catherine.
Maybe access and using programs in the provincial areas. Collaboration between communities. Maybe planning and zoning by laws. Planning and zoning bylaws.
I'm sorry, Catherine, I don't get the last word.
Algo así como zonificación, como planeación y zonificación de las personas.
Okay. No, but I said, you said, the
Bylaws.
bylaws?
Yes.
Okay. That would be it. Well, of course, if we're talking about government responsibilities, we have many. Jorge talks about health system. I just adjusted the spelling, absolutely. And of course, the list could go on. On that sense, here we have a kind of imaginary place. Diego, yes, you raise your hand.
Yes, teacher. Crime is a group of society or social problem.
Crime is a social problem. Did I put it that? No. Okay. It has the color because I used it at the beginning when we were crossing out the examples that you didn't have to use again.
Okay, teacher.
No, absolutely.
Education means education
It's a responsibility. But it says international politics, safety of people. Absolutely. Very good, guys. Those ideas are going to be really useful for the speaking activity that we're going to have for tonight. Well, in this case, we are going to read about, let's say, this imaginary place is the Republic of Picolia. And let's read the demographic information about this place. Could you read first the information that we have here in our box, Manuel, please? Manuel?
Sorry, teacher.
There you are.
Yes, pollution.
Population.
329,000. The population.
Yeah, because you said pollution.
Sorry, teacher. I couldn't hear well.
You said pollution instead of population.
Oh, right. Population 329,000. Capital city Mosa. Population 100,000. Language English. Currency dollars. $1 peak oilian equal to $1 US. Main industries: oil, tourism, army, 2,500 soldiers.
Very good. So thank you, Manuel. This is like the very general and demographic information from this place. Now we're going to read some information actually related to different aspects, of course, talking about some social problems, talking about the budget, talking about also good aspects that the city has. And at the end, it talks about like a difficult situation that the island is facing. But of course, as usual, you're going to help me reading this information that we have in here. So, Maria, could you start reading from the Republic until money to spend, please?
Okay. Okay, the Republic of Picolia
Picolia.
is a small island. The zone of the island is developed, but in the north there is a lot of poverty and unemployment. Many businesses on the island are closing because people do not have much money to spend.
That's it. Very good. Island, Maria. The S is silent. Let's continue with the second part. Marlon, please, could you read from Picolias until falling, please?
Teacher, ¿desde dónde, perdón?
This part, do you see what the pointer is? Picolias main industry?
Until that?
Until falling. Sorry, until in.
Okay. Picolia's main industry is oil, but the current oil wells are starting to run out. Picolia's school and hospital are becoming old, and the opposition parties are complaining about the condition that they are in.
That's it. Very good, Marlon. Thank you very much. Mandy, could you finish the text? From traditionally until important decisions.
Okay, teacher. Traditionally, Victoria has made a lot of money from tourism, but at the moment, the number of tourists is falling. The government of España policies neighbor recently say that Picolia was one of our islands. These are difficult times for Picolia, and the government has to make some important decisions.
That's it, Mandy. Thank you very much. So we have the general information of the island and the current situation, talking about the positive and the negative moments that the island is actually going through these days. Here we have two questions, guys, that the idea that you are going to answer them based on the information that we have already read. Basically, in the text, they are talking about 6 problems. You are going to identify the 6 problems that they are talking about in the text. Let's say that this first question, everybody should have the same answer. And then on question number 2, you are going to decide, this one is about you. Which problems do you think are the most serious? Okay, so remember the first one, from the text, talking about the 6 problems that are being described. And then on question number 2, from your opinion, from your perspective, which problems are the most serious? Remember, guys, all the information is here. Do you have any questions about the instruction?
No, teacher.
Okay, very good. While you scan the text and also while you decide the problems that for you are like the most problematic, I'm going to give you once again 7 minutes. You know the drill. First, the answers from some volunteers, and then I'm going to choose some of you to provide your answers. 7 minutes is starting now.
Teacher, excuse me, could you get down the page to see the questions again, please? Thank you.
Okay, time's up. Jorge, you send the answers to the chat to everybody.
So sweet, teacher.
Okay, those are the problems. Okay. But that was the first part, like to identify it from the text, but also the second part talking about which of those problems were actually, one or, yeah, probably you agree with more than one, are like the most delicate, like the most complicated, to be precise. Manuela, what about you? What do you think? Which of those would be like the worst problem?
Teacher, the hospitals and schools are old.
Mhm. Why do you think that, Manuela?
Maybe because don't have a good economy.
No, but like from your perspective, why do you think that's like a very complex problem? Like for you?
Okay, teacher. Because I think that the education and the healthcare is very important for the people.
They are very important. Mhm. Okay, Beatrice, you raise your hand. What about you?
Teacher, the principal problem is not necessarily in this country, the whole country, when depend only one industry. In this paragraph, the oil.
Mhm.
This island depend the oil is similar Venezuela and Colombia. For me, no, teacher.
Of course, yeah, Beatrice, absolutely. Yeah, they depend. Okay, well, Picolia depends on oil, like as principal source. Thank you very much, Beatrice. I would like to ask also Santiago, from your opinion, from that list, which is like the, let's say the worst one, why not?
The worst problems. Well, I consider the worst problem is the bad state of the architecture, schools and hospitals, because well, there are not if there are not places to reduce the population near cure the issues or outside an emergency, it will be collapse in whatever moment.
Santiago, are you driving or on a motorcycle?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, because the wind is blowing on the microphone, but I think that we got most of your ideas. Okay, guys, very good. Let me scroll down a little bit. Now we're gonna listen to 4 people from this place, from Pecolia, and the idea that you're going to answer these questions about them. First of all, we already know from the text that there are 6 problems. But the question says, what do they think are the country's biggest problems? Now, these 4 people are talking about from their perspective, from their point of view. Okay. And then what solutions do they suggest to the problems that they are naming? That is going to be the idea on this part. Okay. Guys, do you have any questions about the instruction? Questions?
No questions.
Okay, very good. While I set up here the track, the problems that they name, the solutions that they propose. We're gonna listen twice.
One. I am a hotel owner from the north of Picolia, and I am really worried about the economy of our island. Businesses just aren't making enough money, and the government is not doing enough to help us. They haven't put enough money into promoting tourism in particular, in my opinion. If we have more tourists, then we'll have more businesses, and if there are more businesses, there will be more jobs and everyone will be able to pay more taxes. Then we'll be able to improve schools and hospitals. But first, we have to develop business. I'd suggest that we spend more on promoting tourism, and we really must have the new airport that they are talking about in the north of the country. This is really important for local businesses.
2. I'm a teacher, and to me the biggest problem is the state of our schools. Classrooms are getting really old. We don't have enough books, and we need computers if we want to train young people for the modern world. It's really important, in my opinion. Young people are the future of our country, after all. But at the same time, we cannot reduce spending on hospitals or the army, because these things are very important too. I think the government should increase taxes on wealthy people to pay for improvements to our schools. There are plenty of rich people in Peak Oilia, and they don't pay very high taxes, so they can afford it. 3.
For me, there are two big problems: unemployment and defence. I feel really worried for our young people. It's getting more and more difficult to find a job, and I just don't know what they can do. I feel really sorry for them. At the same time, I think we have a big problem with our neighbour, Expandia. I really believe that they want to attack us, and they're just waiting for an opportunity. So I think the government should increase spending on defence and increase the army to, say, 5,000 soldiers. This would help to solve two problems. It would make the country more secure against our neighbours, and it would give young people jobs and useful training. It would give them something to do and a focus for their lives. Of course, the problem is, where does the money come from? I don't have an answer to that.
4.
The best option is to reduce taxes on ordinary people. I'm a mother of a young family. My husband and I both work, but we just don't have enough money to live. Everything is so expensive these days. We want to be able to buy clothes for our children and have a better standard of living generally, but it's just not possible. And I don't think the government needs to spend all this money on hotels and golf courses and things. That's all for rich tourists. The government should help ordinary people like me. Now, that would be popular.
Unit 10, Recording 9. 1.
I am a hotel owner from the north of Peak Oilia, and I am really worried about the economy of our island. Businesses just aren't making enough money, and the government is not doing enough to help us. They haven't put enough money into promoting tourism in particular, in my opinion. If we have more tourists, then we'll have more businesses, and if there are more businesses, there will be more jobs and everyone will be able to pay more taxes. Then we'll be able to improve schools and hospitals. But first, we have to develop business. I'd suggest that we spend more on promoting tourism, and we really must have the new airport that they are talking about in the north of the country. This is really important for local businesses.
2. I'm a teacher, and to me the biggest problem is the state of our schools. Classrooms are getting really old. We don't have enough books, and we need computers if we want to train young people for the modern world. It's really important, in my opinion. Young people are the future of our country, after all. But at the same time, we cannot reduce spending on hospitals or the army, because these things are very important too. I think the government should increase taxes on wealthy people to pay for improvements to our schools. There are plenty of rich people in Peak Oilia, and they don't pay very high taxes, so they can afford it. 3.
For me, there are two big problems: unemployment and defence. I feel really worried for our young people. It's getting more and more difficult to find a job, and I just don't know what they can do. I feel really sorry for them. At the same time, I think we have a big problem with our neighbour Expandia. I really believe that they want to attack us, and they're just waiting for an opportunity. So I think the government should increase spending on defence and increase the army to, say, 5,000 soldiers. This would help to solve two problems. It would make the country more secure against our neighbours, and it would give young people jobs and useful training. It would give them something to do and a focus for their lives. Of course, the problem is, where does the money come from? I don't have an answer to that.
4.
The best option is to reduce taxes on ordinary people. I'm a mother of a young family. My husband and I both work, but we just don't have enough money to live. Everything is so expensive these days. We want to be able to buy clothes for our children and have a better standard of living generally, but it's just not possible. And I don't think the government needs to spend all this money on hotels and golf courses and things. That's all for rich tourists. The government should help ordinary people like me. Now, that would be popular.
Okay. Well, we read the problems from the text. These people are also talking about problems that they see, of course, on the island. What about the first woman, Vanessa? What does she talk about? Vanessa? And Vanessa left. Jessica, the first woman, what is the problem that she's talking about?
The economy of the island.
The economy of the island. Good. And the solution? Jessica. I mean, the solution that she proposes, of course.
The tourists, the cover, there will be more jobs.
Okay, very good. Basically, by promoting tourism, there will be more jobs. Let's continue with the second one. It was a man. Beatriz, what was the problem that he stated?
The second conversation, teacher, the biggest problems, the country's biggest problems, about school out, young people don't have books and computer. The solutions, the government, how do you, the government Eh,
What are you looking
the
for?
government invest hospital, army.
He is not talking about the army, but he's talking about the schools. I just said at the beginning, like the problem is how schools are. And the solution.
Increase
taxes.
Taxes.
Mhm.
Taxes. And invest or the school.
Invest.
Invest.
Okay. That would be it. Let's have a look at the second, well, the third person. Actually, I was saying second because that was the second man. Diego, what is the problem that he's talking about?
The problem is unemployment and defense. And the solution is increase the taxes in this problem, employment and defense.
Very good. That would be it. And what about the final person? Sebastian, what is the problem that the woman is stating? Sebastian. Then Jorge.
Okay, teacher. She was talking about to reduce the tax for the people. The products are very expensive and the government shouldn't spend the money in hotels for the wealthy people.
Very good. That's it. Well, guys, so we already know the different problems that this island has. We're going to slowly move to the collaborative part, but first we're going to do it individually. This is the next chart that we have in our book on page 103. And here, what you're going to do now is from your perspective, once again, based on what you read, and also from what you listen, how we could somehow save and help the island a little bit more. Remember, we're going to start working individually. Imagine you are a member of the Picolian government. You want to improve the situation, but you must also balance the overall budget. You are going to choose 4 changes in spending that you would like to make from the list above. Here we have, in any of these actions from this first chart would increase spending. Each option would cost 250 million. On the second chart, any of these actions would actually reduce spending. These options would help to save and also or make 200 millions as well. In the first chart, we have healthcare, build a hospital, education, repair schools and buy new equipment, build a new university in the north. In tourism, build a new airport in the north, promote Picolia as a holiday destination. Defense, increase the army to 5,000. Transport, build a motorway between the north and south. Industry, explore new oil fields to the north of the island. And in terms of taxes, reduce tax on ordinary people by 2%. Reduce tax on wealthy people by 15%. Remember, choosing any of these one would cost the island 250 million, each one. This one on the second chart will help the island to get this amount of money or to save it. The same categories. For the first one, close one of the 7 hospitals, reduce the number of teachers, cancel plans to build a golf resort in the north, reduce the army to 1,000, cancel plans for more roads in the north, close down 2 older oil wells which employ 500 people each, increase income tax on ordinary people by 2%, increase tax on wealthy people by 20%, and they currently pay 35% of their income tax. So guys, you are going to choose 4 of them, okay? Remember the idea, trying to respect or to, let's say, manage the budget as much as possible and also keeping in mind the impact that this would have in the island. For the moment, guys, any question about the instruction?
Teacher, can I mix the increase and reduce?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's the idea, to mix them. Like 2 and 2, basically. That is the first part. I'm gonna give you, well, while you make the decision, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes because as you can imagine, we will eventually move to a collaborative part. So remember, you have to choose 4 of them, 2 and 2, in order to decide which actually would help the island. For your decision, guys, keep in mind what we read. Let me go back to the book. Well, you already know what the text was about, what we read, and also what you already listened, because the people, of course, were talking about the situations from their own, oops, sorry, from their own perspective. So this is like your point of reference. Then, based on that, choose 4 that you consider would actually help the island. Okay? 3 minutes starting now. Well, guys, this is what we're going to do now. I'm gonna send you to breakout rooms. We will have groups of 4. We have already used this type of diagram before. On each group, you're going to assign yourselves a number. So we have a student number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. The idea, guys, is that each student, well, each participant, let's put it like that, you're going to write here only the name, you know, of the proposal that you have. You don't have to be very detailed on your charts, okay? Then, of course, guys, as a group, you are going to decide, you are going to put in the middle the best 4 changes, like somehow you agree on them. Being number 1, the most important change, and being number 4, the change that you consider, well, it's actually, let's say not that important, but not as relevant as number 1, okay? Yes, Diego, tell me.
Teacher, we can choose 4 changes of reduce and increase, or only 4 in 2 and 2 for the 2 list, increase
Well,
spending and reduce spending.
well, actually, if you have like a really good argument, you can choose like whichever you want. So let's see the good arguments that you have, guys. Why not?
Okay, teacher.
Yeah, I don't want to restrict the imagination. But whatever you have already chosen, because that was the idea, that you consider actually matches the needs of the island, keeping in mind like the, let's say, impact that that would have, that is information that we have on the charts.
Teacher, sorry. The slide put the same text, the increase and reduce, or put the reasons for the change.
Well, because it's already the information that we have in here. For example, let's say you said increase healthcare or reduce healthcare. So you don't have to write down once again all the information. We already have it in the slide. It is like when, yes.
For example, in the slide I1, yes, I put increase healthcare because or only increase healthcare.
For the moment, only increase healthcare because you're going to give your reasons to your group. In the box that you have actually to provide the reasons is in the one in the middle, you know? Because at that moment,
the reasons only write in the best 4 change for Bicolia, yes?
Exactly. Yeah, because you're going to like convince your partners, your classmates, to include your reasons, you know, or the decision that you have already made.
Okay.
Because then the slide would be like way too clear.
When in group, I speaking the reason the choose, yes?
Explain the reason.
The slide only write the short text.
Exactly.
But best for change for Picolia, yeah, we write the reason, yes?
Yes,
Okay.
that's it. Very good. Like also the example that Jorge sent to the chat. That would be it. Wait, let me create. Probably in some groups there will be 3 participants, or I think we could have the 4, I hope. There you go. I think that we don't have repeated names. Just let me make sure of that. Okay. I'm gonna make sure that you can actually share your screen. Guys, have you already clicked on the link to go to the PowerPoint just to make sure that it works? So we avoid a problem that maybe when you go to the breakout room, then the link is not working. Is it working?
It's working, teacher.
Okay, very good. Guys, because you have to make like a lot of decisions in this case, you're gonna have 20 minutes. It looks like a lot of time, but notice all the like steps that you gotta go through. Explain your reasons, then decide on the ranking. Make sure that the reasons are written in the box in the middle, as Beatriz already explained. Well, guys, let's start.
Hi, teacher. I have the same problem I
You
had
had yesterday,
yesterday. Yes.
so we have to use the same solution. Yeah, yeah, because it doesn't allow me to send you again.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
Okay. Jessica.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, Kiara. There you are. Very good. Well, guys, welcome back. Time's up. Well, I knew that probably we weren't going to have like enough time to present the text because I wanted also to do that part, but I suspected that that was going to be like a possible situation. So guys, we already finished the first part of the session, but this is what we're going to do. First, remember that when we do these activities, you will have until the next business day to finish it 6 p.m. so you can make any other adjustments. Number two, then on Monday, we are going to start by presenting the charts. From each group, I am going to choose any of you to present the chart that we have in the middle, you know, the best for changes for Picolia. And then we will continue with that part. I would really like to listen to you presenting the changes. So first, if you think that you want to make any adjustment, you know, in terms of the typical vocabulary, punctuation, or grammar, you have until Monday. Monday is number 24th. Yes. Monday 24th at 6 p.m. That's like the final deadline, you know, in case that you want to make any change. And then when we begin the session, I choose one of you guys, of course, from each group to present the changes that you propose. Okay. Guys, did you have any question? Questions?
Sí, profe, ¿necesitamos volver a justificar en el medio la elección de las 4 o?
No, because you already wrote them. It's like to present them on Monday.
Okay,
No, you already did it. In case that you maybe, okay, I have this idea. But if you already finished, if you consider that you finished, no problem, no more changes. Well, guys, as usual, thank you very much. I hope that you have a good weekend. Don't forget also the virtual campus. Next week on Friday, we have the final exam. Sorry. Guys, see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye, Miss. Happy
Take care,
weekend.
everybody.